Okay, we are just about ready to get started. All right, here we go. Sorry, everybody. Hey everybody, it's me, Max Farrow from DexFXMarkets.com. And in today's Chris and Max show, we have a little bit of a shift here. Mr. Chris is just a little bit late, but we are joined with Thor Rafferty and Paul Davey for a little while as we go through some things. Today is the 8th of April, 2020. And like I said, we're joined by Thor Rafferty. How you doing, Thor?
Very good. Thank you, Max. It's nice to be here.
And I think Paul snuck in here as well, but we'll invite him into the process. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm just a bystander here.
Good. So Paul's sort of the fly on the wall or the fly on the couch, or I don't know how your back is doing. He threw out his back last week, and I definitely feel for you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing better. Okay. So I asked Thor to be here. We had a special guest who was going to be here, who was a customer. And the idea was that we had somebody who's an active customer still. But Thor, when did you start with Dex Effects and the mentality of well, not even just Dex Effects, but Dex Trader?
Yeah.
How long have you been with us per se?
5 years, I think. Pretty
5
close
years?
to 5 years, yeah. Thereabouts. Like a lot of people, I got interested in binary options, and somehow I managed to avoid all the scams, like sending money to Nigeria.
Yeah. The king needs to trade, and he died, and he left you $1 million, and you need to send me money. Yeah.
Exactly. And it seemed like a huge scam to me, trading 5-minute binaries. And
Right.
but I did trade longer terms, and then mixed results. But then I kind of came across your concepts and went through the Trader's Mind series and a bunch of other stuff, and been doing well for me. So I can't complain. I'm very happy that it happened.
Good. I appreciate that. I know that in the very beginning, we've always had trials and tribulations trying to figure stuff out. We figure something out and the market shifts, or brokers cheat, or they come out with a new way to do something. And there's 1,000,001 different things that have happened in our process. But one thing we've always kept sort of consistent, I even think from the time that you started, was the daily signals, right? The daily signals have been with this. You both probably seen them from the beginning as we were making them, but there's a lot there. Now, what you see on your screen right now is the Dex Atomic. Some of you people that are here for free, by the way, we brought over in the last week and a half, since we have done the COVID-19 free giveaway process here. That sounded really bad, like I'm giving away COVID-19, but our process, since we started, we brought over 300 people into the system.
Wow.
Over 300 people have recognized an opportunity and are seizing it. And that's tremendous. They are all in there learning. There's a lot of people in this network really helping us out. We have a lot of sponsors and other people. So let me jump down to this, and you guys can see my screen as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to kind of run through a quick market read for the 1 hours for the 12 o'clock. I'm a little bit behind. No signal on the Audi USD. We're going to do an Audi JPY. We're going to look for that one. Now, again, I'm only looking for perfect signals, and what I feel is a perfect signal for me in this place is that we're using support and resistance of course, but we're also going to use some dynamic controls as well. No signal there, Euro USD. A little bit of news from earlier on had a market push. Let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Yep, this would have won. Okay. Great Britain pound JPY. No signal. There's no way this got skunked today. I mean, there's not one signal at this time period. There we go. I feel better now. But I'll come back to that USD CAD in just a second. I want to see what the USD CHF has. Seems like a little bit more stable, and USD JPY. There we go. Okay. So the only thing that we do have is on my favorite prima donna pair is the USD CAD. We're going to just kind of quickly scope it here. Look at this big giant movement. This is an impulse movement over a period of time. This is an oil movement, right? Because the USD CAD, the Canadian, is influenced by oil, a commodity pair. And this is a very, very strong push down. What normally happens in these processes is that this push will result in a pushback, right? A small reaction, return up north to kind of stay back to where it was before the push happens. See, boom, 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 boom. So it's going to try to get back to this line, probably right around this area. So I'm not really going to, if I were to try to come on, I would try to come up to about this area, 40, 45, and maybe put a working order on. But like we call this the prima donna pair because it's reaction. Okay. In the response, they're always dramatic, right? They're always going to flow really fast. So I don't really trust this area, especially after a big push. I do, however, find that when it does have a nice steady trend, it works really well, even up to the point of failure, which is right there. And then it starts to go back down. So I can trust it, but only after it's committed to the trend. Okay. That's for me for the USD CAD. Thor, I don't know if you have, but I know that there's some of us that have been trading for a while that after a while, you get to know the story of every pair, right?
Yeah, you sort of do, what affects it, when it affects it, certain times of the day to avoid or jump on. And that's where the grid, on our website comes in really handy, the 1 hour, 2 hour, et cetera, grid, what percentages are working and what aren't.
Right. For the signal side. Yeah. In most cases, under our systems here, we can come down to signals. You can come over to the 1 hour signals, which uses a concept of the TNT, the trend and negate trade process, and you can come down and see easily once it propagates here in a second the value of success for that mentality that works or doesn't work, that fails or what have you. So we can kind of see this morning there was a tremendous news block that was happening anyway. So, but you can easily see through some analysis, if you will, looking at the statistical values of what pairs do well at what times. You can find it. Does this transfer to Dex Atomic? Not necessarily. I mean, you can use it to kind of omit some pairs, but again, that's not a completely different system, but it is a different system. But upon the Dex Atomic, I have found that we're constantly looking at price action and the story that comes with each one, knowing the Audi USD is a gold commodity pair that is heavily influenced by just about anything of mineral relation, from gold to silver, that kind of stuff. And then, the Great Britain pound USD, sometimes having a very stout way of just kind of keep pushing against the grain, right? So it sometimes doesn't conform with the other pairs and the convection with other pairs. I find that, for me personally, every process has a story. Every pair has a story. Every hour of the day has a story. And how do you figure that story out, Thor?
Just experience, I think. Practice. Trade in demo. When you feel comfortable, start trading live. Trade small at first, one contract, and just get your feet wet and get in there. And, you check the news, see what news is affecting it, what news is coming up. And you kind of just have to learn from trading. I don't think there's a book you can buy that would tell you how to do it.
Well, there's the process that we found a long time ago is everybody's like, can you teach me how to trade? Yes, I can teach you how to learn how to trade. I can't make you trade, and I can't teach you exactly what it is for me. I mean, I can show you what it is for me, but what it is for you is going to be a different story, because every single one is. That's why, like our mission statement, we want to help as many people as possible get to their idea of success, is because with every single trader, there's a different idea of success. Your success may be, I only need to make $400 or $500 a week, where somebody else could be, I want to make $10,000 a week. But that idea of success also comes with an idea of shared workload of what you have to do. And that's something that I want to kind of touch on in today's show is, and you have to bear with me. You guys know that I'm transparent and I'm upfront, and I try to be as honest as I can without being insultive. But in a way, I also have to be kind of insultive right now, because what I've been hearing as of late, since we've been bringing on some more free people, most of you that come on have an idea that you're going to come on and everything's going to be done for you, and, hey, where are my signals? Why, I don't want to sit and look at a chart all day long. You know how many times I hear that? What do you have that I don't have to look at a chart all day long? It's called the microwave. There's nothing we have. There is nothing in the industry that is real that you're going to be able to sit down, push a button, turn it on, walk away, and come back and there's money in your pocket. If you two know of something, let me know. You're keeping out on me, right? Or if any of you that are watching, in the comments, put the link to what that is, a real link to what it is. Because let me tell you, we've searched, and not like just for a couple of days. We've been in this business, 7-8 years. I haven't found anything. We've tried to invent stuff. We tried to build stuff. We tried to make it as automated as possible. But even with our ZDON system, you still got work to do, right?
Yeah, you still have to set it up. You still have to, I find that it works beautifully. I've been having really great success with it, but it's not, clicking to your phone. You're going to have have it on your computer or VPS, and it's not 100% perfect, free,
right? Well, I gotta, yeah. Hey, buddy.
It's Chris. I'm in.
Yay, he's here exactly on time. This bugger said, I'm going to be there at 10 after 12. I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, yeah, you'll probably stroll in. I've never known him to be, well, he's not late. He's exactly on time when he told me he was going to be here. So he's not late.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to verify that. If I can add a little bit to what you were just saying.
Sure.
It's a skill. If you want to learn anything, you're going to have to get in there, and you're going to have to make it, as we've discussed in past talks, you're going to have to treat it like a business. You're not going to just start up a restaurant, throw up tables, and you start cooking some food and you're just expecting people to come in. You're really going to have to, it's a system. It's not hard, but it does take dedication and realizing that, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing. I need to learn how to do this.
Right. Well, you can just kind of open up and throw up a sign and be there, but you're going to learn some hard lessons, right? You can try to find a automated system, because everybody and their mother is going to come to you and be like, hey, I have something free for you to be able to use, or something you can use. It only costs you 1,000 Bitcoin, or whatever, right? $1,000 in Bitcoin. And there's so many scam. We could do a whole show on just scam artists out there, right? But I think where we started to kind of separate is that we wanted to make sure we had something that was decent. And what shows great on paper sometimes won't show good in Nadex, because Nadex has a way of doing certain things. Somebody used to call them shady Nadex already, right? But it's like, that's not necessarily true. They're a company. Nadex is an exchange that is in between us as the retail traders and their market makers. Now, do they have wants to make sure that their market makers are successful. Yeah, but if it's always one-sided, legally, they're not allowed to choose a side or make it heavier on one than the other. But let me tell you, their market makers have access to all their data, right? We don't have access to crap, only what is out there, right? So we don't have access to nothing more than what they give us. And we got to work with that. When we first started building the daily signals and the 1 hours and the 2 hours and all the great programs we had, we were always in trying to find what would work with the site. Now, we had opportunities to kind of connect to indice pricings and all this other kind of stuff. But I said, let's just stay with one thing. Let's stay with the dailies and the intradays and be great at those. And we did. We became very good at those systems. And we were always asked all throughout the years, all the way up to 2 years ago, or actually just about a year. How long has the Xenon been out? About a year? Not even.
Yeah,
Yes,
not a
about a year.
year, not even a year.
Yeah, not even really a year. I mean, we came up with a concept more than a year ago, that this is what we wanted to do, but it took some time to really get it right. We actually had two systems for a while. We had one programmer doing one and we had another, almost like building the atomic bomb, right? Where it was two different teams putting shit together. But the idea finally presented itself not as like, oh, hey, we should build a bot, right? Because I got asked every week, every day, basically by some people, when you're going to make a bot for your signal so I could trade it automatically, and I always would laugh at them. I was like, the moment that you can do it yourself. But there was a lot of people who wrote me who was like, hey, I found a way to take your signals and turn it in this. And, we talked to maybe 30 or 40 programmers and we always heard the same thing back, oh, we could do it this way, but it's not really legal. I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, well, they have some gaps in our API and we could take advantage of it and do all this stuff. And we said, no, hell no. One thing that we don't want to do is resort to the same tactics as the brokers use. We don't want to be shady. We don't want to be, incognito. So, because when that shit goes wrong, it goes wrong. There was a company that was building a system. It was on their website. You could log into their website, put your details of your Nadex thing on board, and get their signals to fire into your Nadex account. It was an awesome idea, and I didn't buy into the whole process because I knew what they were doing immediately was breaking the TO, the terms of and conditions of the site. And I even talked to one of the owners and I said, listen, you may get shut down. Oh, no, we're going to bring a lot of people to Nadex. I said, I don't think it really cares because you're breaking the terms and conditions of their website. You can't give access to any other company to your site. The software has to be yours. And they're like, nah, well, that'll never work because they have to put it in and have to give us permission to use it. And so they fired it off without permissions from Nadex. And I think they got a lot of people. It was like $1,500 to buy in and all this other stuff. And they got a lot of people to go there. And then, of course, what happened a week later, Nadex came out and be like, cease and desist. And that company disappeared quick. I mean, that was like, you borrowed money from your cousin Vinny and you're not paying it back kind of disappear, right? That's what I felt. But what we learned from that, because that was like 5 or 6 years ago, what we learned from that was that we need to make sure that if we do it, we got to do it right. Now, you have to apply for Nadex's API and all that kind of stuff. But there are other ways that you can work around that process that are legal. And we had to find what that was because we also knew that if you got the API from Nadex directly, that you had to follow their terms and conditions as well, that you had to follow their rules and what you could say and what you couldn't say. Like if they made mistakes or if they had problems, I wanted to be able to tell the world. But if I did that, I could lose my API status. I could lose my corporational status with them. So we decided that we weren't, that's why we also are not an affiliate, that there's a conflict of interest. We're not an affiliate with them because we needed to remain neutral. And that's what we did when we built this system. It is built upon a neutrality. It follows all the terms and conditions. It gives you access to the software, ownership of the software, and use the signals inside the software to be able to trade onto your Nadex account. Now, doing that has presented some unique tasks that we were able to build into the system. In fact, I'm going to jump over and we're going to have just a real quick look at this process. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can open up the proper pages and everything. All right. I might. Okay. Trying to get back over to that screen there. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Right there. Share screen. And boom. Okay. So we're in looking at our system right now, and I have it in mode. I'm gonna end the session. I'm gonna open this up. Now, this is on a VPS that we have. I am using my live system, and I really didn't want to do that and be showing that process. But I wanted to kind of quickly show you what we've done. We created the software here so it connects internally with the signals and delivers either our dailies or our 1 hour or 2 hour signals. In the process of doing that, we had to create strategies, if you will. And this is where, we know that the strategies of our system on what works and what time it works and how it works is all really developed around the data that we collect. Okay. We also have a news avoidance system on board. All right. Whether or not you use it or not, it's completely up to you. And just as much as there is secondary and primary strategies, there are different times that you can trade. There's times you can turn it off and on. I'm going to start this back up and then kind of go away from there because I forgot that I had my live account on it, which I'm not allowed to show apparently. I can show a demo account, great, but why live? Why can't I show live? So weird. I can show you, but there's certain things I have to make sure I have to do. But I don't have the disclaimer up here right at this moment. But Thor, I know that you have your system going, right?
Yes.
And you have it, and that's on my VPS from Dex Web Tools, which will have a link in the description of what that is, that we have VPSs there. And when you get one from us, you just let us know, and we also give you some added bonuses too for having us over there as well. But taking that system that we were talking about earlier, from the signals, and let's just say that you're somebody who just wants to follow the 1 hour signals, you're able to see I guess the definition of data collection here is inside the system. Do you guys agree with that? That there's a lot of data
Oh, yeah.
that you can utilize, right?
Yeah,
So the strategies that are used are unique to each and every one of you. Like knowing what times that you want to trade and what strategy that you have for your Zedon and what you're watching, you can correspond it to it all, right? You can set from a overall value of, these numbers up here, the overall statistical value of how well the pair does, or even finitely through, and dynamically through every hour, right? On the pair. So from the monthly side or the weekly side or what have you, there is a tremendous amount of drilling down the information on what you want to utilize. You guys agree with that statement?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can either, the power of the bot is you can either do it very specifically. You can go in here and, filter out the ones that are 71.4%. You can
Right.
filter those out manually, or you can do it automatically.
Yeah.
So, you can go either way.
I think, do you want to share your screen with your bot on it at the moment?
Yeah, we can share if you want.
Okay.
Click screen share here, and hopefully, I always forget to share. So let me get
It'll
my
take a
bot
second,
over
it's still.
here. Yeah. So
Here we go.
yeah, I just run right now. Unfortunately, we've got a loss going on right now on the USD.
Well, it's
80.
not really a loss.
It hasn't happened yet. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I keep it fairly simple. I typically will use the monthly expiry at 85%. I don't change much. I just use one contract
Right.
at 3070. I think I have to leave here to set the news. I set a 3-star news avoidance.
Hmm.
And I turned this on and I just let it run. Turn it on at about a few minutes after 6 on Sunday,
Hmm.
and I just let it run and let it do its thing.
Right.
And I've had really, really good results, doing that. Um, I've posted them on the website. It's not unusual to wake up on Monday morning and be up $100, something like
Hmm.
that, or um, and just let it run. Now, I also trade Atomic when I see a really good setup, and I'll jump on here
Ah, okay. So
and
you'll use this as
I'll,
your trading activity as well. You'll come in
absolutely,
here
I'll
and do it.
use this as my trading platform. I'll
Wow.
go in here and find an Atomic trade. That was one that I was in that won a few minutes ago, the Euro USD.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll actually trade the Atomic right off of this at the same
Hmm.
time, oftentimes, as I've got the Zeta.
Now you have yours set. Now the reason why Thor can show his live account and I can't show our live account is because ours is a corporate account. So there's a rule for that. So I have to kind of deal with that. So and Thor is is part owner of not really part owner of the company. He's a member of the company, and he's a I guess he is part owner. We could just call it that. But in the description of the process, he's on the board. So there is an opportunity for him to be able to show this, and this is the reality of it. So you put out a spreadsheet. You have your spreadsheet on, right?
Yeah. If I can get out of this here. Shoot.
Yeah, you just shrink the page down.
Yeah. Um,
There you go. Top right hand corner. It gives you a double headed arrow right there. Oh, a little bit
oh,
right.
that's the refresh.
No. But that button there, yeah. But if you go to the
Oh,
screen
there we go.
and you got an ability to, it's a double headed arrow in the top right hand corner, or any one of the
There we
corners.
go. There we go. No, that's just.
No.
Come on.
It could be any one of the corners, or you can shrink down you can move the actual, but you got to hover over the edge of the box.
Dang it. Sorry.
That's okay.
This shows is not rehearsed.
Yeah.
That we are. Um,
Or you could just drag the whole box away.
yeah, I should be able to. That's
Can you click on the actual heading of the box up where it says ZDAN up in the top? Your screen is not, I mean, for me, I see it, but
there we go.
yeah.
All right, that gets it out of it. All right. So yeah, this was my last Sunday, turning it on and
Oh
just
yeah,
letting
yeah.
it run. And I've posted that. I've posted various videos, which I won't
Right.
run.
It's all in our Facebook group that you do it.
Exactly. And we're also pasting them now to the YouTube group.
Good.
Um,
Good.
so this is a more of a long-term performance chart, and you do take losses. There'll be losses, but overall, most weeks it really, really works. 124 that week,
Right.
took a loss of 40 that week, but all in all, it's been really just killer. And again, this is a mix of the Zedon and the Atomic.
Right.
This is the last few days. We took a little loss there, but it's mostly green.
Right.
So,
But this is brilliant because it's yeah, you do have a stake in the company, but you're also somebody who has methodically tracked your successes as well, and that's really important.
yeah.
So I'm going to stop sharing with you for right now, and we're going to go through a few other things here real quick. But the concepts of learning the Zedon system, were they really hard to learn, Thor, from your perspective?
No, it wasn't for me. And I do oftentimes help people on the in the chat or on the Facebook pages and so on. And it is a matter of testing what works for you. Finding a certain percentage that you like, and having confidence in that. So you want to definitely run and demo. I know there's a lot of people that want an instant gratification and jump in.
Yeah, just jump right in the live. Yeah.
You know, I've got $300. Can I trade live?
No, yeah.
No.
Well,
So,
and this is why, we actually have our system set up. If you get the system, first off, you have to sign the NDA, but if you get the system, are you allowed to have live right away?
no,
No.
no.
Somebody asked me about that in the chat the other day. He's like, hey, listen, I'm a big boy. I've been trading Nadex for 16 months and I know exactly what I'm doing. Well, yeah, you may know exactly how to trade Nadex, but this is a bot. I mean, could you make a mistake and accidentally put 100 in the quantity area? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And then that shit changes.
you can set this up so it'll really hurt you if you're not careful. I mean, where
Yeah.
you're trading, over trading and trading very risky percentages. And I've had one person in chat, he wanted to trade, instead of 70-30, he wanted to trade 50-50.
Right.
And,
Yeah, because he thinks that's a better concept, right?
Really, really dangerous, because if it's hit 50, it could very well go against you majorly.
Well, yeah, you have a 50% chance to lose.
Exactly.
You're flipping the coin.
Yeah, you're trading at the market, at the money, instead of in the money.
Right.
70-30, you're trading in the money, whereas 50-50, you're at the money. And so,
I utilize the market prices as the availability to tell me what the percentage of success is. If you're trading at 70-30, you have a 70% chance to win.
right.
You also have a 30% chance to lose. And in those concepts, is that heading, does that give you enough availability? But if you have a system, if you're just going in willy-nilly and you say, I'm going to buy you when you hit 30, I'm going to buy you when you hit 30, or $30 profit. Yeah, that's a process that you're relying on the success of just randomness at $30, right? But when you have a system that has 85% success rate, you now go from a 70% chance of winning that process to an 85.4% chance to win.
Yeah.
So this is what gives you the edge. Could you go to Nadex at the top of every hour and put a working order on for your favorite pair at a particular time and just say, only buy it when it hits $30? Absolutely, you could do that. And you would have a success rate, whether it be poor or with you or against you, is completely up to you at that point, but you would have a success rate. The commonality is that a lot of people forget that that Nadex is all about percentages. The market prices are made up by the market makers. The indicative price and all that other stuff, the Forex market, a derivative, and what all that is, that's all there. The mindset, like David Menning is in our, there's Crypto Mike. It's Mike Ficca. Hey, buddy. But David Menning inside the chat room here had stated, that you not only have to learn how to trade, but you have to learn the mindset behind trading, on how to lose, on how to, what scalping is over not scalping, and, how many contracts you're going to place compared to that, what's the incremental crawl? What is all this process? Everything that we put in front of you to learn is there to protect you, right? Any fool can come up and say, hey, at 3:00, do a buy on the Euro USD, and you're going to have a success rate. Any fool can do that. Any monkey can go to their website at 3:00 and make a buy on the Euro USD. Anybody can trade with the clock on the wall. There are plenty of programs out there and networks out there that will train you how to use their system to try to make money, right? And when it fails, they all have the same reasons, right? Oh, well, this system didn't do that, and the market here, and that, this is that, and everybody has their reason. And 90% of traders fail because they don't use a mindset behind actual trading. There's millions of strategies, but there's only one mindset, right? Learning how to control yourself as you trade. Over trading, making it too complicated, coming up with just, well, let's see what happens when I do this. The Hail Mary play is a big one, right? We've all done it.
Yeah.
We've all been like, I just lost that one and it's an 80% success. So that means I can't lose 2 in a row. Let me put 10 contracts down. Woo.
What we do, this whole idea is to tilt the table in your favor. If you can imagine a game of pool and you could tilt the table just a little bit so the ball always
Right.
went in the pocket. You know, the 90% of the time the ball went into the pocket. Well, that's what this does. It tilts the table in your favor.
Yeah.
It gives you just a little bit of more of an edge that other people, other traders hopefully don't have. Of course, they can always join here,
Mm.
but it just gives you an edge that will be profitable over time.
Well, I can't say that. I mean, I do agree with you that we do have an edge, but I don't think it's more so tilting the table in pool, right? I'm an avid pool player. So I think what it does is that it teaches you the fundamental concepts of like how to hold the stick properly, how to create, good connection with your bridge. It teaches you those fundamentals that give you an advantage, yes, over the average. Like if you were to sit down and play somebody who's just learning how to play, absolutely. But it'll even help you against, it's not that you're fighting the other traders in this world, but it does give you an advantage on Nadex, on playing the game, right? On how to get the ball in the hole better, right? And know what shot to take and what shot not to take. It teaches you that process, but it also gives you the fundamentals of the basic core concepts of your mindset, taking a deep breath before you play, making sure you got chalk on your hands, those kind of things. So that's where a lot of people, just going into a pool hall, picking up a stick that's all beer covered and everything else that's crooked. Yeah, anybody can go do that. But it's once you get that concept. Okay, well, that's about our time when it comes to talking about the Zedon system and what we have for it. Thor, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me.
Oh, no problem.
And being here. You can stick around in the room if you want. We can.
Sure.
I know Chris, but I the name on the door is Chris and Maxx show, not Chris and Thor show. So I gotta be kind to Chris. You there, buddy? You still there?
Yep, still here.
All right. So I guess the past week has been pretty wild, right? With bringing in all the free people. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, it's great to see everybody coming in and giving us a try, and it's quite remarkable, really, when you think about it. I mean, there are a lot of traders. There are a lot of traders out there too that maybe gave up or take a look at it. This isn't for me, and then all of a sudden they see a system, that appears to be working. I think the other thing is that if you take a look at and there's really just about a handful left of outfits that have a system and trade, and I was involved in a couple of them. They're still there.
Right.
These guys are really good, but the amount that are left, just like the story that Maxx was explaining about, the company's just going away. For anybody that's been here for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm just throwing out that number, or more, you can rest assured that they've got something that people want, and they're still in business, and they're legit. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Absolutely. And normally any company that says, I don't care what my competitors do, they're full of shit. I do care what my competitors do because there is a limelight. Now, do I investigate everything that they do? Do I dabble into corporate espionage and try to sneak in their companies and do whatever? No, I don't care to be in their system. I do care what they advertise and how they advertise it. And I do have friends that are in some of my competitors' rooms. I've been in this industry for a pretty long time. And we've had people that have come to us and have been with us and have gone to other systems, and they go in there and they say, hey, listen, this guy is in there talking some mad shit about you guys. And that's okay. Whatever they're going to do, I don't dabble into return. But one thing that I am very proud about is that search engine optimization for a website, we never pay for advertising, right? It's all word of mouth. It's all just opportunity. But we struggled for a while to be on the first page of Google for even something simple as like Nadex signals, right? We're in the first spot. This is a paid ad, by the way, up here for Nadex. And here we are, first spot, free Nadex signal archives. Boom. That page alone is bringing in a lot of people, right? You can even say it's been updated and indexed 6 days ago, right? It's above Altrado, which is one of our competitors when it comes to the Zedon bot, right? And that Altrado network is, I don't know. I would love to say that it was real, but it wasn't. And it very frustrating to me that it had signals that they were firing off. They were doing certain stuff. And the company was very, very, I don't know, less than reputable, let's just say. Nadex Daily Pro, these guys have been around for a really long time. The Vinci Chan, I'm not too sure about these guys, but we don't shy away from this kind of stuff, because we got into this business because we wanted to trade, and we wanted to do so honorably, and we wanted to do so with helping as many people as possible. And so if there is a company out there, see, like all these paid ads of all these people out there, all these successes that you hear, and trading Nadex or not trading Nadex and Pips Alert. I know these guys here too. Now these guys are okay, right? But again, they have their own way of doing stuff for Forex and other things. They got a Nadex thing, they have a not a Nadex thing. These guys are okay in my book, right? But there's a handful of companies that are here that I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw myself, right? And I can throw myself pretty around. But again, why are we on the first page? Well, because we've done some work and done some homework, right? We know what it takes to be on the first page, but it's also because we've had a lot of authority in our process of what we do. And I think where a lot of companies lose their control over their clients is when they try to build too many things at once, and it's always something new, yeah, we have stuff like that too. We build stuff new, but we also have systems that have been here for the full 6 years. Our daily signals have been with us from the very beginning. Trader's Mind series. We got one of the very first people. He's in the room with us right now. It's Paul Davey went through that system. I think Thor was in there, and Vivian, and a lot of people were in there. Mike Ficker went through it. There's a lot of people that went through that process. And the building of that was very strong because it helped people get to a mentality, a different mentality. It taught them how to lose. It taught them how to prepare themselves. Hey, Chris, I think we were talking before on the mentality of trading, that from you being in customer service, are you still getting a lot of people who are like, hey, how can I do this from my phone? And, is there anything that's just like set and forget?
I think what a lot of people are looking, they like the idea of having it on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
but now that's changed, right? Because a lot of people are home.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, the thing is, it's a dynamic thing, and as I was stating, I think in the last episode, the episode 2 there, I believe.
Yeah.
For the guys and the gals, you're at home now, so you have a really good opportunity to study. So and I think that's what people want. Dex Atomic, okay, I got that for free. Okay, I can get in here, and if I just put my mind to it, I can. Once I learn that, then it just kind of overflows.
Yeah, there's also, I was talking with Thor earlier about the whole mindset of, hey, there's got to be something free out there. I don't want to sit at my computer all day. How long does it really take? It doesn't take very long. I mean, I can go through all 10 pairs in 4 minutes. We talked about that before. But the concept too is it takes you about a week or 2 weeks in demo and training to get that mindset etched, right? But really, you're still going to I still get challenged every once in a while in reprisal trading, right? Like, I just lost that trade. Damn, let me go wait for the most perfect trade, or hey, let's see what happens if I get into this trade, right? And I have to train myself in the very beginning. Yeah, you're going to trade like every signal, right? You're going to be like a little kid in a candy shop. Oh, if this works and I trade 17 times a day, then I'll be able to get, you start making adjustments with yourself, right? All right, if I sit down in this chair, I just did it for an hour and I made one trade. And if I do that for 9 hours, that'll be 9 trades and I can make a whole bunch of money. Yeah, you can, but we begin to wear ourselves down when we trade too much. We begin to make more mistakes. You know how they say beginner's luck? It's beginner's luck in the very beginning. A lot of people come in, they trade is because it's fresh. You're paying attention. You're following things to a T. You have a structure. Maxx says to do this, do that. Okay. Maxx says to do that. All right, do that. All right. It says to do this. I do that. You're following a rule set. It's later on that you begin to, like they say in boot camp, right, Chris? You you learn how to talk the talk in boot camp, and then you learn how to walk the walk in the real world,
Pretty
right?
much. Yeah.
You're crisp and clean in boot camp, and you get out into the real world, and you're like, damn, I got mustard on my uniform. How can I hide that?
Oh, there's
Right?
a lot of negative motivation, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to get down there, do push-ups or run double time somewhere and things of that nature.
Right.
So,
Yeah. There's punishment there. And in the very beginning, it's, I used to get clients who used to call me and be like, Max, the system's not working. All right. What did you do? Well, all I did is I put 19 contracts down the one time. That was it, just one time. And I lost all my money. Well, wait a minute. You're trading live? Yeah. Well, I figured you already showed that it worked. Wait, but you didn't put the work in? No. I just followed the signals. I threw a bunch of money at it. That doesn't work, man. See, trading is never about somebody else's system. It's about you using somebody else's system. It's about how you apply it. There's never an opportunity that you're going to get that you're going to be able to sit down and just push a button and make it all work. And if you do, the way that you're going to be pushing that button is not just one time. You have to know. I guess for me, it's that I don't want to overanalyze, but I also never want to just willy-nilly throw a whole bunch of trades down. I'd rather not trade at all than to trade poorly. Let me say that again. I'd rather not trade at all than to trade poorly. Losses are very difficult. They will teach you, they will hurt you mentally, right? But wins that are won poorly will do twice as much damage than a loss will. If I make a mistake and I get into a wrong direction, let's just say it says a buy and I get in for a sell. I learn a hard lesson quick. Boom. I get out of the market immediately as soon as I see it. I don't hope for the best, and I learn a lesson hard. But if I get into a trade and I push the margin up too close, right? And I won a little more than I normally would. And I'm like, yeah, here you go. I'm in control now. And then you do it again and you lose. And you're like, well, okay, 50-50, that's not too bad. Let me try again. And you lose again. It started to etch a bad habit into your trading cycle. Learning how to read the market, dynamic structure, knowing what works and what doesn't work. You know, the line says 1.1001 and you go to Nadex and there isn't that one available, but there's one closer. You're like, what's a few pips? What is a few pips? Could be the win or a loss. Christ, a micro pip, a unit. Can you lose on a unit? Absolutely. I guess it was a rhetorical question, but yes, you can definitely lose. I love the banter between Chris and I. He must be sleeping still. You can lose on it. You can lose on a unit. You can lose everything you got on a unit, a single unit. And I've been in plenty of webinars where we're trading and it's like, yay, we're going to win this. And then the last 8 seconds, it goes ding, 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 and gone.
Yeah, I had one the other day. It was a microsecond. At 1 second, it was below, and in that microsecond, it took a loss. I mean, it was the right trade. You know,
but is that
everything was right, but
you did everything right. So it's, again, the loss isn't ever about the number of, I lost by 600 points. Well, what's the difference between a loss at a micro compared to something that lost by 600 points? It doesn't matter. It's still a loss. If you did everything right, if you followed the rules, you followed the strategy, it's not a loss. It's just part of the program.
I think the other thing is the issue, if you will, with demo is, I guess you can compare it. You can develop bad habits by being in demo. Mm-hmm. So you have to, I always use the example of Michael Jordan when he practiced. He actually practiced harder than he would in the actual games. And then, of course, you take a look at the success that he has as a basketball player. It's the same thing with the driving range, right? You know, you're out on the driving range and you're practicing, and man, oh man, I'm hitting them well today. And you get out on the course and you may have developed a bad habit over swinging, under swinging, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's in that process. So try to get the idea of getting demo out of your head, because you'll get in there and say, whoa, 25 grand. Whoa, you know, I'm in.
Right.
And but it's just not that way trading live. So it's something to definitely be aware of. Don't get into bad habits.
Right. Now, before you got here, Chris, we had talked about doing a trade on the CAD at 40.45, and look what's happened. I think it was like 40.45 we talked about, right, Thor? I don't know if you're still here. We talked and look.
I'm still here. I just muted myself. So
right, but we talked about the USD CAD being at that level. Remember what we talked about? I mean, like we could do a playback later on and be like, I told you so. But here's exactly, you know, it went exactly like we thought.
Mhm.
Right. And this was on a 1 hour trade, and we're coming up to the end of the hour here, and we're this many pips off. Now, this would have been an extraordinary win. This would have been something that would have been pretty strong. And why did I choose this area? Wasn't just because I could have just came up here and be like, yeah, we could have placed it up here because we have support and resistance. I did it here at the 40.45 is because it's giving us all of our price action information. You got this little jump right here, but then you got this pair that has fallen down to right there. And that is huge as well, right? That it's pushed in and shrunk back from that, but that's the area for it. So these three indicators told me that if it is going to come back up to be responsive to this push, if the reaction to this response or impulse to response, that's the area it's going to come and pull back to. So putting a working order on at that level would have been something fruitful for us, right? Because it's going to come back down to this area into this push, and now it's going to try to go back up again. Right? It's going to try to do its thing. It's going to try to get back to that. I think it was right here that we took that pull, and look at that, almost to a T, right? I mean, that's the experience that I had with it. We called it out directly. It's exactly what it did. Could I have traded that process? Yeah, but I have one of the other rules for me. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. And running a webinar and a show at the same time of trading is probably, you know, not the best to do. But I did want to show you I wasn't just talking out the old butthole there. All right. I guess next we can kind of discuss just real quickly what's about to happen with the network and what we're doing. As most of you know, we've gotten into a free zone that you can come on. You can get the Dex Atomic for absolutely free. Oh, by the way, the 5-minute system too. Yeah, we snuck that little bugger in there. Well, you're welcome.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know. I don't know if you want to thank us just yet. You know, that's like saying, hey, all you crack addicts out there, you know, here's a little bump for you. You know, and we're all giggling because we know.
Yeah.
We probably have one of the biggest crack addicts to 5-minute trading ever, Mike Ficca, probably watching the show right now. I love you, Mike, but you know, we're all there. I have to go to like 5-minute signal and anonymous every week, you know, because this is terrible for me.
Hello, Max.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Max.
Hello,
And
Mike.
I have a 5-minute problem. But really, the condition here is that if you can use this as a training tool to teach yourself how to read, but why am I so good at reading the markets? Is because I've witnessed thousands and thousands of trades happening in 5-minute increments. I've learned what the market does because it works the same exact way in a 5-minute signal as it does in a 1-hour signal. Okay, so
I think we kind of we've transitioned a little bit and kind of gone back and forth on the 5 minutes. When I was first with Mike and you, and we were doing the gig, you would mention on Dex Trader, I think, that, you know, go ahead and use the 5 minutes as a great training tool to trade the other intradays and dailies and things of that nature. That kind of just puts everything in slow motion when you're doing that. And then we got away a little bit from it as far as using the 5 minutes for training and getting in those trades to learn how the market works. And I think what we're doing now is, which is a good idea, is the 5 minutes do give you the opportunity to get in there and trade and learn how the system works, and if you made a mistake, how to get out of it. And so you have plenty of opportunities to get involved with that. And if you just stick with one contract and get in there and definitely in demo.
So now we've made a few changes to it. We have a 4 square and a 3 square. Sometimes because I have recording software going on, it's kind of messing with it at the moment, but you just hit refresh on your screen and it'll work. I promise you. You don't have recording software like I have on, it's messing with the codes. There we go. There's a process for the 3 screen. So the concept here is that you come in and you do your trades, you figure it out, right? There's so many trades that have an opportunity, right? Look at all these opportunities. Come down to here. This would have been a bought in. I don't know if this one would have bought in, but this one would have. This one definitely would have. Don't know if this one. I don't think that one would have won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 loss. And I can look at these very quickly and tell you whether or not they would have gotten bought in. That one would have bought in, and there, if you would have used that one again, going against the grain. I like to, when in trading 5 minutes, only go with the ones that are following the trend, right? You can go with all of them that follow the trend. If this is heading down, this is come back up here, possibly bought in, maybe not. 5 minutes are a little bit skewed on Nadex's website too. They have larger spreads. Okay. So again, learning how to trade, pick a pair, pick 2 pairs, pick the 4 square or the 3 square, or just pick one. You got the all pairs section here. Just pick one and just stay with it. Learn it. Do this one for like a day. Follow it around. Watch when it does its big push up away from the EMA. Learn how it comes back to the EMA. When you get this big push away and then you get that first signal, this is probably one of the best signals to get into because it's almost act the money. Right? Learn how to read the dynamic structure that's sitting right in front of you. But again, most of those people that come to us with the anticipation that, 5 minutes, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. You're not, because you're going to trade so much. You're going to overtrade. It's going to be trying to take a drink from a fire hydrant. So use that as the training itself to be able to help you learn how to read the market, how it anticipates certain levels, where it utilizes the levels and where it doesn't. Learn how to read dynamic structure doing this at these micro levels, because you're going to learn it fast. And then you shoot over to a 1 hour signal, a 1 hour training system, and boy, does it change you. You're like, damn, I'm basically, this is like nothing. This is like moving in slow motion, like Chris was saying. Okay. All right. So we're going to focus on something else right now too. We're going to talk about a couple things, but one of them is our Atomic Zedon project. And what is that? Well, right now the Dex Atomic is firing off with great success. I don't think there's a person here who has really used it that has gone, I don't like that system. The Dex Atomic program itself, learning how to read dynamic control and dynamic structure, using EMA, using that process, have found it to be probably the best. And when I first started to think about giving this away for free, there were some people that were a little skeptical. I won't get you wrong. There's a couple of people that are like, hey, listen, give away the signals, but keep the Zedon behind the veil. Let people pay for that. That's the best system you have. And I had to kind of reiterate and tell people my thinking here is, let's put our best foot forward. Let's try to help really help as many people as possible. Nobody has money right at the moment to pay for the other stuff. So let's give them the best thing to actually go let them make money. Do you guys agree with that? All of you that are on the phone right now, do you guys agree that giving them something that they can physically go make money with, we may not get everybody, but we will get a majority of people that'll be like, damn, I'm actually making $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I can afford to pay for Dex now.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll happen?
I was one of the ones who was kind of skeptical about it. But no, I completely agree now.
Right.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. When you first came up with it, I went, but then when it was explained and we looked at it, and I thought, yeah, good idea, excellent idea.
I didn't even know that about you two. I was talking about my wife, but yeah, okay.
That's because you don't pay attention to the chats.
Yeah, right.
Except her.
So there's a process that you know, like I was talking to one customer and he's like, listen, this has changed my life. I don't have to, I'm worried about money, but I don't have to worry about paying for the system. And I just can worry about putting money into trading now. And yeah, I'm only making $200 or $300 a week, but that's for me starting. He's going to incrementally crawl. When I hear clients spitting verbiage back at me, you know, like incremental crawl and CVG, he goes, yeah, then I'm playing CVG. I was listening to two people talk because I had to put these two people together because I didn't have enough time to do one-on-ones with them. And one's telling the other, hey, CVG, oh yeah, did you incremental crawl? Oh, I sure did, man. That's awesome. I'm like, damn, fly on the wall Maxx is a lot cooler.
Nope. I hope you recorded that.
Yeah, right. No, it was all in like a chat system.
All right.
It can work against you though when your children start quoting you.
Yeah, right. Yo, Dad,
Yeah.
put down the chips, man.
Yeah.
CBG, buddy. Incremental crawl.
Yes.
I've eaten so many at a time. No, you're right. But so the concept of the Zedon project and putting that out there, and the Atomic Zedon, we're taking our two best programs. And we know that the daily signals and the signals, they work, right? They work because you can see Thor working them, you see Paul, you see all these people working that system. But it took so much effort to do all those processes and to learn with that data. So what we have done is that we've created a project here. And again, the Dex system, the Dex Atomic portal, the data that's in that system is done by us from Dex data charts, right? We own the data system that does that, but it's very little. It only works with those 10 pairs. It only works on a 1 minute, a 5 minute, and a 15 minute in the system in there for the data. And it only works on the Forex side. So what we had to do was kind of really start to investigate what did we want to do next. So we created this, and this is from our friends over at TradingView. Our TradingView charts on our website is what we call a private library, and this is an open library. This means that we got data for every single pair. We got it on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute working, no problem, but it's on every single pair that's on Nadex as well. I mean, it's on every pair. No, you can go to the ruble. It doesn't matter. But it also now does everything on the indices and the commodities as well that have those features. In our last show, we showed a working order going on for the Wall Street 30, and that one won, by the way, from that process. Why was it so I haven't heard that in a while. I'm on a signals page. Give me a second. That's pretty crazy. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, signals are firing out if you're new.
Yeah, right. It's at 1 o'clock and they're firing off. But there's like the Euro USD that this one's on right now, and like the Wall Street 30. We've seen this one, right? And this is how it loads in. So what we're planning to do is to have this system over on TradingView that you can sign up for. You can sign up for TradingView and get the editor. You'll get everything in there that you need. You'll get all the codes in there. And the first phase of that Dex Atomic Zedon system is that what we're going to have it as the arrow pops up, it's going to validate whether or not the trade is, above or below it. It's going to have some validation markers in there. And then it's going to send you an email for whatever pair that you have it on. It'll send you an email to say, hey, look, here's a buy at this level at 2020 or 22,673.4. It's going to go back over a certain area and grab its, support and resistance, its dynamic resistance and support. And it's going to give you that call out, and it's going to say, what that's going to be. And then you can go from the email, and if it's a 5 minute, or if it's a 1 hour trade or a 2 hour trade, within the first 5 minutes of that, getting that email, you want to be in the trade or doing that, or you can go put a working order on, doesn't really matter. And that opportunity is for, how well will that work out, but all depend upon your success and your being able to get in, and what Nadex has for strike periods at that close enough to that, right? So the first phase is to get this into an email structure for us to practice with. And it can be used on any pair that you have in commodities, indices, and or Forex. That's a lot. Because if you go over to Nadex right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 indices. Now they all don't have, we have to find out exactly when all of the, like the US Tech 100, what it represents over on TradingView, the time periods that it has its intradays. We'll have to find all that out, and we'll have that for you all very soon, right? But there's like 4 or 5 pairs during certain periods of time that will have it, and there's some that won't, and blah, 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 right? But it's the same thing. Even if you just kept on trading Forex, you're going to have the same process to be able to do that. Now you could take something like this. If you had a premium account, you could do something like this. This is all the Wall Street 30, but you can have it on 8 up to 8, right? And if you got a second account, you can have up to 16. So very powerful and has a lot of opportunity for it. Now, the second phase of that system is all going to be about attaching it to the ZDON. Now, you'll get your personal ZDON that you'll be able to put down, connect your email to it, and when that happens, it'll send an email. This system will send an email, and then it'll trigger a trade to happen on the ZDON. That's what our ultimate goal is. We're also looking to create our own system for signals for the Dex Atomic signal system, which is pretty wild. It says my internet connection is unstable. We probably had just a little bit of a process there where we kind of may have lost you. So I do apologize if we did.
No, you're good.
Okay. And that's basically that for now. If you want to partake in helping us build this process, because we still need your help, we're about maybe $2,000 short of our goal. Right. We've done pretty well. The Wall of Awesomeness. There's one other person on here, Ron Fickert, who has not been put on the list yet, and Jeff Vandenberg. I can't thank you enough. There are people in who are doing contributions. This is where you go in and you do a one-time buy-in or a recurring. There's so many of you. I haven't been able to get you all on just yet, as of with stuff that's happened over the last 24 hours. So if you don't see your name on this list right now, in Friday's show, your name will be on the list, I promise. But it's Jeff Vandenberg and Ron Fickert and a handful of other people that I can't remember at the moment. Names I don't remember right off the bat. So, but there are a lot of you, and we can't thank you enough. Remember that the ads on the website are if you see something that you like, if you're looking for a ClickFunnels, in this case, mine says ClickFunnels. Yours may say something different because it depends on what you're searching for. Okay. If you do see something, click on it, go buy it, go do whatever. The more that you do, the more we get paid. But keep in mind, don't just go in and click just to click, right? We don't need that kind of help, right? That's unfair. That's unfair to those advertisers that paid a lot of money to have this ad, right? This one's on my screen because I use ClickFunnels, right? So I had clicked on these guys a long time ago and actually bought their system, right? But for if you may see something that you may be liking or finally going to be buying into, then please do, all right? They'll also here pretty soon, we'll have other advertisements on here, like for Dex Web Tools, for our friends over at Dex Ally, which is a new system that's coming on board here soon. For Faber Tech, you'll see some of our own stuff from our city that we're going to be using as well. All right, Chris, you have anything you want to throw in for the last little bit, the final?
No, just a reminder that that Friday is Good Friday, so I don't. Not sure where I won't be here on Good Friday. Just to
okay.
Don't anybody cry.
Don't everybody cry. Right?
And Nadex is closed that day as well. I just wanted to put that out. So
yeah, so no trading. So there may not be a show on Friday, like I said before. So thanks for letting me know right now during the show. Excuse me as I'm coughing my head off.
And
we'll let you know.
By the way, that USD CAD Canadian won, and the ZDON bot picked it up. That was the one that was negative. When I showed my screen, it was negative,
right,
and it won. So,
oh wow, yeah, it did win.
As did yours on the Atomic method.
Yeah, no, I just seen that
essentially in one.
Yeah, well, the Dex Atomic did it at a different level, but yeah.
Right, right.
It did win. Yeah, that's great. I'm up $100 on I was clicked in and shouldn't have clicked in, but I'm up 100 and something bucks today on trades now. So listen, right? I know you a little bit.
Max?
Yeah.
Next, I just want to put in a plug for for Paul and for Thor.
Mhm.
You know, these guys are seasoned, and they're very methodical in their methods.
Yeah.
So and they're successful with that methodology. You just follow when you're watching their videos and what they're doing. They have the ability to put it out in an organized fashion, relatively slow, so that everybody can understand. And that's the kind of attitude that should be developed in any trader. Just very
Mhm.
calm, uh, just a seasoned approach to the whole thing, and just some good solid advice there from me on how to follow Thor and follow Paul.
Well, don't let him kid you. Chris is pretty seasoned as well. So I think what he means by
Yeah,
seasoned is that we're a little all long in the tooth here, and we kind of know we don't move as
yeah,
fast as we used to.
yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
only
Old
kidding.
Bay,
No,
maybe some Old Bay,
yeah,
Old Bay.
right.
But
Listen, all three of us in from our side, that have been here the longest. Chris is the newbie on the block, but been here, pretty long as well. And Chris, Thor, and Paul have all contributed to this process more than I can ever explain to all of you. That they all have their own things that they have done, and for the site and for the systems and for the programming. And they think that I'm their mentor, where I'm not. They are actually mine, because what I learn from them as I teach certain things and how they respond to it and how they digest it and make it their own. All three of them have a different way of doing it. And that to me I've been able to augment my style of teaching and how I teach things and what I do. So seeing how Paul took to making the videos of the daily, and how Thor takes his time and what he does for the Zedon, and how Chris does his process, with helping customers and getting them on board from a fundamental no tech kind of mentality. I mean, Chris doesn't really have a lot of tech experience, but he's still in there helping people from his point of view. And so it's those kind of mentalities that we're able to mold together. And that's what we're here for. We represent just about every type of person that we have on board, to a certain degree. And we have Vivian, who is also on board. And we have several others that are inside the network that we've learned from as well. We want to learn from as many people as possible as well. All right. Anybody else? You guys do you have anything you want to add to the end?
no,
I think
I'm good.
it's been well covered. But one thing I will point out is I've not been trading for the last week, as people have noticed, mainly because I've been taking painkillers and it will affect my judgment. So that's why
Yes.
I haven't been
Yes.
trading.
And plus, you probably stared at the microwave for about an hour wondering why it wasn't moving. I get you. There is something to say to never trade intoxicated or influenced, like we said last week. Never trade influenced, right? And sometimes that may be you're watching the president speak and you're like, and then don't go trade, right? Okay, whatever. All right. In final for me, my final thoughts for today is that your world has changed, and if you're a type of person that you think like, hey, in a week it's all going to turn back to normal, I would suggest that you reevaluate that. Your normalcy is going to be something that you're going to make. You probably found out you're not as in control as you thought you were, right? That there's a lot of other forces out there. You're probably wondering, how do I have a backup system or prepare yourself for the worst? Not saying become a prepper or a conspiracy theorist, but I think you all should understand that what you're about to take part in, whether or not it's trading or it's working from home or it's what have you, we can help you. Between the experiences on the show right now, just the four of us, we've handled everything. We've handled controversy, we've handled death, we've handled it all. I'm not saying that we know it all, but we're prepared for everything. And we're prepared in our minds to be able to do what we need to do to make it happen. You think these other three guys have any less experience than I do? No. We are seasoned. We are veterans of this process and how to make things work. And we can help you. Reach out to us. Get onto the consultations page. Get in with Thor. Get in with myself. Meet with Chris. Meet with Paul once he's off painkillers and he won't scare you. Okay, so I want to say thanks to everybody that is watching the show. Come back as many times as you can. Please like and hit the subscribe button, like the channel. If you see stuff out on Facebook, like and share those things as well. Get our message out to as many people as possible. We feel that it's a good, clean message. It's honest, it's transparent, it's hardworking, and we want as many people as possible to be able to utilize that. Now, we will be having next week some trading shows happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to be doing trading shows to where people like myself and Paul, or myself and Thor, will come in and trade a particular time period. When those shows will be exactly, we're not sure yet, but we will put out messages to all of you for it. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Chris, thanks a lot for hanging out. Paul, Thor, thanks a lot for being here as well. And we look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. And this has been the Chris and Max, Paul and Thor show today. You have a great day. We'll talk to you next time. And as always, live well.